Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. We are episode 56. We have Drake Robert from Drake's Detailing and Revival Marine Care. Good morning, sir. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Man, this is definitely, we've had some technical difficulties, so hopefully everybody can hear us and what's going on. So Drake, just a little bit, you're out of Pensacola, Florida, right?
Yes, that's right. Yep. I was in California for 2 years, but yeah, I just moved back to Pensacola, Florida about 5 months ago and relaunched my Revival Marine Care brand. And yeah, so we mainly do boats here in Pensacola, Florida.
So you specialize in boats then?
That's it. Yeah. So I started out really young, about 20 years old, and I'm sure we'll kind of get into that a little bit more in the podcast. But I started out doing cars, and it morphed into boats. I kind of started to figure out that I can make just as much money, or I'm sorry, I can make more money in less time doing boats, mainly more in my area. So when I was about 23, I was like, dude, I can, work for the same amount of time as a car, but make almost double the money doing boats. So I just kind of stuck with doing boats.
Awesome. Do you let's kind of and from the things that I've seen and things that I've watched from you, you've had Drake's Detailing, which is that just, and I'm just asking, is that kind of like your media end of it?
Yeah, so my original company, when I started my actual detailing business when I was 21. So I started right when I was 21. It was just, I actually was working for a detail company and they let me go because they couldn't afford me through the winter. So I had worked with him for about 8 months. He kind of trained me on doing mobile car detailing stuff. And it was literally 3 weeks before I got married. I got married really young. And he said, hey, for a wedding gift, I have to fire you. But for a wedding gift, I have to fire you. But I'll actually sell you all the equipment you've been using, and you can make payments on it. Because I was broke, I was 20. I didn't come from money. My parents weren't rich or anything. And yeah, so he let me make payments on the little trailer and the buffering. But I didn't know what to name it, so I just named it Drake's Mobile Detailing because that's that was it. So that morphed into Drake's Detailing because I started Drake's Mobile Detailing, and then when I got online, I took the mobile part out of it and just named it Drake's Detailing. So on YouTube, which is my main platform, and Instagram, which is probably my second platform, is just Drake's Detailing, and that's what it came from. And it's mainly because it's me teaching about detailing, more specifically boat detailing.
Sure. Do you want to talk a little bit about, you had a I don't know what you want to call it, but you had like Detail U. Is that something that
Yeah,
you did?
so I did detail you. So basically I was in business for about 8 years, and I was here in Pensacola running through all my 20s. I started it, like I said, in about 21. Ran it till I was about 27, and then I actually grew my business quite well. I'm not a millionaire by any chance as far as that age, but my company was making about 300,000 a year, and it was me and two other detailers. I was taking home quite a bit, and I was burnt out. I was miserable. I was stressed out. Honestly, there was a time in my life where I got on some antidepressants. Just I was growing up as a kid. I had a bunch of kids. I had three at the time. Now I have four and one on the way. So
Well,
still pumping babies out.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So I started Detail U because I had decided to just take a break. So I actually was kind of on a verge of a nervous breakdown. And I like to tell people I know all the things that you shouldn't do to grow your business, so it qualifies me to talk to you. So I was on the verge of like kind of a nervous breakdown, and luckily we had saved some money, and just doing pretty well. So my wife and I were like, hey, let's move to California. I actually went to a school out there. It's a ministry school, but it's mainly geared towards leadership and business principles.
Okay.
And when we did that, I decided to start Detail U, and all Detail U was my online course platform where I filmed a few online courses, and I named it Detail U because it's Detail University. And yeah, I built a few online courses, and then I actually started a supply store. But I soon realized that doing the supply store, it was a lot to manage with just shipping costs and inventory and all of that. And I kind of jumped in not knowing what I was getting myself into. So for the Detail U, it's still alive and active. It's just, well, I say that it's still alive. I'm just kind of putting it on pause for a little bit. And
Huh?
with us moving back here to Florida, I relaunched my Revival Marine Care line. And that's just my local business because I've learned things in business that you shouldn't put your name on a company because when you go to try to sell it, it gets a little weird, especially your first name. And I had a business partner that I sold it to, and it was weird. He was wanting to use my name to run the business. And I'm like, dude, I can't have you running a company that's a competition, technically a competing company with me with my own first name on it. So I learned a few lessons along the way, took a few hits on the chin. So when I moved back to Pensacola, I decided to take my name off the company because I do want to have an exit strategy. If I want to do that, I don't really have any desire to sell right now, but in maybe 10, 20 years from now, if I want to, I want to be able to do
Sure.
that. So we took the name off the company and we named it Revival Marine Care. And I will be doing Detail U again. It's probably going to be in about a year, but it's going to look totally different. I'm going to get away from doing the courses and do a paid community. And it's going to be more of like coaching. And honestly, I'll probably bring back the podcast as well. So I know
Okay.
I had a lot of people. I had the Detail U podcast. It was actually one of the top car detailing podcasts for a little bit. And I actually just decided to put everything on pause because personally, with the Detail U brand, I'm a man of conviction. I don't like teaching things that I'm not currently doing. And
Right.
the Detail U was actually kind of a play on words. It's Detail University, but I'm all about detailing yourself, like living a high quality life, a detailed life. And I actually had picked up some habits that weren't really conducive to me. And I was honestly feeling convicted. I'm like, man, I'm trying to teach people how to live healthy and, stop indulging in addictions. And I was actually falling my way back into some addictions that I had. And I just honestly felt convicted. And I was like, I'm going to get clean. I'm going to get right. And then we'll start it back up again. So that's where
Perfect.
we are. Yeah.
Do you think you've from so you were in California, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Redding, California, all the way at the top.
Okay, so do you feel like you've obviously you've grown since you've come home?
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like it's a completely different business? Do you feel like from where you were to where you're at now that you made the right steps along the way to get to where you're at?
Yeah. So I made all the wrong steps you could possibly make. um, man, so that's a really good question. So when we left Pensacola and we moved to California, I swore I was never coming back. I actually thought I was going to get out of detailing, and that's why I started Detail U because I was like, hey, I made all this money. I know all the answers to every problem in life.
Right.
Honestly, a lot of arrogance and pride wrapped up in that. Just being a young guy didn't come from anything. When I started my company, I was well, right before when I got hired on as a detailer, I was living in a shed in my girlfriend's backyard. Her mom cleaned out the shed and took the lawnmower and the weed eater out, and they let me live there because I was a pothead. I was smoking weed every day and drinking when I was young, and I wanted to get out of that life. So my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife, her mom was like, "Hey, we got this nice shed in the backyard that's has a window unit. Do you want to get in there?" So that's where I came from. I did not come from good from well from just a great life as far as financially. My parents are good, but they just never really made a ton of money. So I started from the bottom. So whenever I'm 26, taking home 120 grand a year, like I think I'm Captain
Yeah.
Dingaling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when we left, I swore that I was going to get out and I was just going to teach the principles. And I still have a passion for that because I love teaching people. That is what I'm passionate about. That's why I make YouTube videos, is because I actually enjoy the teaching side of it versus the
Right.
detailing side. But yeah, it's I forget the exact question you were asking as far as with the training. Is that right?
Well, no, it's the one thing that I was curious about is how you feel differently now
Oh yeah,
about where
sorry.
you're at compared. No, you're fine about
Yeah.
to where you were when you were in Reading.
Yeah, so when we left for Reading, I went to this school and I realized just how broken I really was still and how I don't actually know everything. And in fact, and I think this happens from what I've talked to a lot of people, They said when you hit about 30 years old, you start to realize you actually don't know what the heck you're doing in life. And I didn't realize that coming out of the school, I would be turning 30 and graduating just within the same couple weeks. It was crazy how that worked out. And I hit this midlife crisis or, quarter life crisis because I always thought I'd be a millionaire by 30. Like in my in my teenage years, and when I was, especially my early 20s, I was reading business books like crazy. I took courses. I did it. You name it, I did it. All the podcasts, all the books. I really, really applied myself because I wanted to be a millionaire by 30. And I hit 30 and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually far, far from that. And it just made me really rethink a lot of things in my life going, okay, Drake, you need to chill out. You actually don't really know what you're doing. You have a lot to learn, and then you need to take a humble pie. And through that process, while we were in California, I had some business partnerships that were really good. And through a lot of pride and arrogance on my side, they actually they faltered and they failed, and rightfully so, honestly. And I got punched in the face, by life, and I learned a lot of lessons. So coming back from California, my wife and I, we prayed. We're Christians, so we prayed, and we were just like, God, if this is what you have for us, we want to do things totally different than we've ever done, because the things that got me here in life, I've made good decisions and I made a lot of bad decisions, and I'm living the fruit of those choices, And that was a sober moment to realize that, like, hey, I've made good decisions. I got married to a great woman. I've made a bunch of kids at this point. I've made good decisions. I've put content on YouTube. I've helped thousands of people all around the world, literally in countries I've never even heard of. I have people write me going, "You've changed my life," through boat washing videos. Like, it's crazy. But I've also made a lot of bad decisions. I've believed the ego trip, the pride. When I start to blow up on YouTube, and I was having CEOs of companies reach out to me and want to work with me, that got to my head big time. And I just believed that I was on top of the world. So when we moved to Pensacola, one of the things that we did was we took my name off the company, because it's not just me anymore. I need a team.
Right.
And I've always been kind of a lone ranger. And when I was in my leadership school, I took a business class, and the guy was a Chick-fil-A owner, the guy that taught the class.
Nice.
And he was saying how, he runs his entire business off of 16-year-olds, and, 16, 17, 18-year-olds are working there, and they're high quality kids. And he was saying how one of the things that every business owner complains about is that there's no great people out there, and that there's no great people that want to work. I mean, every detailer literally every detailer right now is shaking their head just like you are.
Yeah.
And I've said it 1,000 times, like, you can't find good people, like, no. And he basically, and it hit me dead in the forehead. He said, there are plenty of great people out there. They just don't want to work for you. And I was just like, oh my God. Because he was like, I find all kinds of great 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. And he was like, the reason is because we have a great business. We have great leadership principles. We have nice uniforms. We have a great work environment. We're encouraging. And I mean, I that truth just hit me. I mean, it's like hitting me right now just talking about it again.
I'm sitting here stunned.
I know,
absolutely,
and so is everyone. So is everyone listening right now, because it is the thing. How many times have I said that? Like, there's no one out there that want to, But the truth is I wasn't a good leader. Wow. I wasn't a good boss. I wasn't a good friend. I was drinking after work, and, just complaining about my day and to my wife, and puts me in a negative mindset. So the next morning when I go to work, I got all this bent up, like, resentment towards my employees and the boat owner and all this stuff. And,
wow,
it made me realize, like, the common denominator in my life, or the common denominator in all the problems in my life, is me. You know what I mean? And nothing out there. My business is not going to change. My wife's not going to change. My employees aren't going to change. My work environment's not going to change until I change. And that's where I've been. The last 2 years, I've been on this journey of just realizing how broken I am, how much I really don't know, and how much work I need to do in order to have the life or the business that I want. And yeah, so the reason why I named it Revival Marine Care is one, because we bring boats back to life. We specialize in restoration, but part of it is like it's what happened to me. Like I needed to be revived. I was dead essentially, and I needed to be brought back to life. And I'm currently doing that, and I'm working the steps, and I'm doing the work. And right now I'm on a little fitness journey and like trying to lose some weight again. And I'm also quit drinking alcohol this year. It was kind of like I've always struggled on and off with alcohol. And that's one of the things I was like, it's kind of holding me back. And
Yeah.
so I decided to stop doing that. And it has not been easy, but it's just those few things. So I know I just rambled on for quite a bit,
No,
but
no, that's you.
to answer your question, moving back from California, everything about my life is changing. My business is changing. My family dynamic is changing. The way I'm hiring, I'm actually paying my guys really well now, instead of just
Good.
trying to hire guys at the cheapest rate possible and then demanding a bunch out of them. I'm actually hiring guys at a higher rate and then having fun at work and not being so serious. And we're getting nice hoodies and nice shirts and branding. And behind me, I don't know if you could see this, but like I have a little vision board with like our future vans that are going to be. So yeah, there's a lot of good things coming, and just remaining hopeful. And yeah, it's good.
I'm still just trying to soak in what you just talked about,
Yeah,
because
sorry, I know I just said a lot.
no, that is yeah, but the thing is, I think people need to hear that. I
Yeah,
need to hear that,
I need to hear
right?
that. I need to hear that every day, because
No, seriously.
it's one of those things. Like I was the king at blaming everybody else for my problems. I mean, that I blame my business partner for failing their side of the deal when I was blind to my side of the deal.
Right.
I blamed my employee, or yeah, I blame my employees for not showing up. And the guys we hire just are always addicted to something or can't show up on time. But really, it was my fault because I didn't hire good guys, and I'm not willing to pay them. I'm not willing to pay what a high quality person deserves to earn. And I just learned that in order to change my business and in order to change my life, I ultimately need to take responsibility and stop blaming everybody else for all my stuff. And
Phenomenal.
yeah, and the more you do that, the better your life is and the better your business is. Because you can make a bunch of money by grinding your way through, but it is a miserable existence. And fortunately, I have learned that at a pretty young age.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
that. Those are absolute gems of knowledge, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's awesome. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah, you're
Um,
welcome.
so
I'm glad I went through hell to earn them.
it's and so presently right now, and I think I was going to touch on this a little bit. Is in your present, like we talked a little bit about your past. Now we're talking about your present. We're going to talk about the things that you do to encourage people, the things that you do, just everything you just said is huge.
Yeah.
And but you did a video that I watched, and I want to touch on this a little bit because I think it's important, and it kind of struck me. Is you did a video about you talking to a guy who I think he's like 16 or something, and he said he was discouraged,
Yo, yeah.
and you said you were discouraged,
Yeah.
and you said something about always being discouraged. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I don't know if always being discouraged is right. I may have said that. I don't remember, but
Well, in all honesty, don't quote me on that. I just threw it out there
yeah.
because I remember the video, and I think to me, because I'm thinking, is that word discouraged? If you're discouraged today, can we just twist that and say I'm not discouraged, I'm challenged?
Yeah, for sure. So exact. That's a good way. Sorry if you hear my son is knocking on my door right now, but
Well, as we should do.
I don't know if I don't know if so he used the word discouraged because he's new in business, and he said, I believe he was, I don't remember his age, but he did say he was 6 months into business,
Okay,
and it was on
6 months.
it. Yeah, it was on Instagram. I remember the video. And
Yeah,
I'm like smoking a cigar while doing it because I remember I
yeah,
was smoking a cigar, enjoying a good cigar, reading on Instagram, and it popped up. And the truth is that challenge, that's great. To replace that challenge, that's incredible, because that's really what it is. But in those moments, when you're like, man, I've done the marketing, I've done the Facebook posts, I've done all that I know to do, and I'm still not succeeding or catching on the way that I think I should. The truth is I'm 10 years in, and I'm doing the marketing, I'm making the YouTube videos, I'm doing
Right.
and I'm still not where I think I should, and that can be discouraging. So I made that video because I think people need to know that even people 10 years, 20 years in, I know a guy that's 20 years in, where he's getting into a new building and like building all this stuff, and yet he still struggles with challenges or discouragement from time to time. And
Right.
I know when I was young, especially when I was first starting my business out, you look at guys, especially on social media, or just, business people, whoever it may be, detailing or not. And you think to yourself, like, oh, they've just got it like all together, and they're just like, they're confident all the time, and they're doing great all the time. And the truth is that, one, they're only putting the confident stuff on the internet. Typically, it's the highlight
Right.
reel. You're not seeing the behind the scenes stuff. And two, it's just a fairy tale, because everybody is going through challenges. Everybody
Right.
has struggles in life, in business, in life. And it's learning how, even when you're discouraged, to do it anyway. Even when you're tired, like, do it anyway. When the last thing on earth you want to do is call a customer at the end of a day, which is me most days, you should do it anyway, because that's how you succeed. You're not always going to want to, and you're not always going to be excited about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the thing, and I try to plant this seed with almost everybody I talk to, especially in the detailing industry, because we're so wrapped up in this product, that product, this and that, everybody's different.
Yeah.
We don't all have the same goals. We don't all have the same financial situations. We don't all have. So in essence, we are trying to fulfill certain goals, and we're trying to move ourselves forward in a certain way. But we need that encouragement. It's from other people. And sometimes it seems a little weird that you're actually looking for encouragement from somebody whose situation is like a complete,
Total different. Yeah.
totally different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's amazing how we can, as humans, look at other people and look at their situation that's completely different than ours and have a relation.
Yeah,
We
for
can
sure.
relate.
Well,
So,
and because my comment or my opinion on that is because it's all hard, right? I mean, there's that quote, like, successful's hard, being poor is hard.
yeah,
And the truth is like, when you're 17 and you're starting your business, and you're only making a couple $100 a week or a month, like, yeah, that's hard. But it's also really hard to be married and have 5 kids and employees and a company and making 7 grand a month, where you're like, wow, 7 grand a month, that's a lot of money. Well, really, it's not, because that goes very quickly.
yes,
And I would argue to say it just gets harder. And
yeah,
that's like the last thing you want to hear when you're 17 and you're like, hey, man, life's hard. And I'm like, dude, I hate to say it, but life just gets harder. It doesn't get easier. You just, your capacity grows,
right,
your problem solving capacity grows, your stress levels grow. If I would have the stress that I have now, as far as mentoring people online, my business, my employees, all of this stuff, just taking care of 4 kids and a pregnant wife right now, and managing finances with all that, like, dude, if I would have had this pressure on me at 21, it would have crushed me.
yeah,
And that's the thing. It's just life is heavy, but I believe you make it harder on yourself when you just live in a perpetual state of negativity.
right,
You live in addictions, you live in resentment. It just makes it harder. So it's like getting rid of those things, working on yourself, getting healthy, letting go of some hurts, some traumas, and accepting life how it is. That's ultimately how you can make the best out of every hard situation.
that's awesome,
And and
absolutely
that
awesome.
and that's just one thing that I like to do. Is one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel is because more specifically in the boat world, there was no one really posting good content on YouTube, and there's still really not that many people. There's a few
Right.
people that are doing pretty well now since I started, but before I started, there was really no one doing good boat detailing content. So I made it my mission. Like when I started my channel, I was like, I'm going to help as many people as I possibly can, because I had to learn everything the hard way. Like I'm in a driveway sanding a customer's boat, literally pulling my hair out because I'm like, oh my God, did I just destroy the boat not knowing what I'm doing? And now it's like, hey, you're okay. It's just, that's what a sandpaper scratches a boat. That's what it's supposed to do. Like, here's the buffing steps and it's going to come out great. So I like to try to go back and teach the person that I used to be. So a lot of my stuff is I love when people write me and go, "Hey man, I'm discouraged," because I'm like, "Great man, I've been there. I've done that."
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm still kind of discouraged at times, but here's what I do to get out of it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I think it's just kind of it's part of life.
Yeah.
Those are the challenges that we're going to face on a daily basis, trying to move forward. And I mean, like, I think in terms of, like, we don't ever know what the outcome of something's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Because if we did, we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're dang right. If you knew the true cost, you probably
if you
wouldn't do
knew,
it.
yeah, if you knew exactly what was going to happen, you might change your mind about,
Yeah.
stepping into that. So I think that's the one thing, is that we need to embrace the not knowing.
Yeah.
And I think that makes us better people by helping us maybe rethink our thought process to
Yeah.
move forward through things that we're not sure about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, that's what faith is, I mean, Christianity, faith, or just faith that good things are going to happen to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like doing things with faith. It's risk. I've heard people say that faith is spelled risk. It's spelled risk, because it's risky. It's risky to have faith because you give your chance the potential to be let down. And even in that, like I've been let down in my life. These last 2 years, I thought I was gonna go like, whew, and it went up and then kind of down,
Kind of down. Yeah.
But really, hindsight looking back, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, it humbled the heck out of me. Sometimes getting your freaking butt kicked by life is a beautiful thing. It sucks in the process. But I'm a better dad because of it. I'm a better friend. I'm a better business owner now,
Right.
and ultimately just a better human because of it.
Yeah.
And
And I think
yeah,
that's the one thing too, is that we talk a lot about what with Paul from Springer's Detailing. When Paul and I talk, we talk a lot about the fact that, we have to take a step back and think about the fact that we've always been okay.
yeah,
We always have. We just didn't think we were, and we were struggling for a reason. Sometimes you just can't see what that reason is until
yeah,
you get through it. So
yeah.
let's
That's
talk a
it.
little bit about. Go ahead. What'd you say?
No, yeah, I was like, yeah,
Okay.
100% agree. Yeah,
Yeah. Let's talk about the future of. So is Drake's Detailing? It's just it's, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but it's just the
that's okay.
YouTube and your social media thing.
Yeah,
Okay. Revival Marine Care is your local business. Detail you. You're going to bring that back. Bring back the podcast. That's awesome. Future Drake. What does future Drake want for Revival Marine Care and for 5 kids
yeah,
and good employees? What's
yeah,
Drake want?
yeah. So I want a lot of things. One of the things that I want, you said 5 kids is great. A lot of people want success for themselves, and so did I. I mean, I was very self-centered my entire 20s. That's where a lot of my pride, ego came from, because I wanted to be successful. I wanted to live my dreams. And my mindset has shifted from I want the people around me to succeed, more specifically my kids.
Right.
And one of the things that I want to do with Revival Marine Care is set up that business in such a way that my children's children's children can live from it, if they desire.
Right.
And if that means growing the company for 10 years, selling it and getting into real estate and turning that money into something else, maybe. If that means Revival Marine Care becomes the next biggest brand in marine care products, awesome. I'm down for that too. Whatever way that looks like, I haven't quite figured it out yet. I don't have it figured out. Now, practically speaking, right now, my goal is to just become the standard of service in my local area in Pensacola, Florida. So I'm building my team up currently. I just moved back 5 months ago. So
Okay.
Revival Marine Care is literally 5 months old.
Awesome.
So, and we just went through winter, which is our slowest season. So it picked up, and then I moved back, and then it's like dead. We still worked, thank God. I mean, we still did well, but I was just using this slow time to train my employees to make a couple of YouTube videos and kind of get back on my feet back here in Florida. And we're coming into our springtime months, and even right now, I'm about 2 months booked out currently,
Nice.
which is incredible for being a 5 month old company. My YouTube channel helps, so
Yeah.
I definitely have that advantage. I'm not ignorant to that fact, but yeah. So the goal is to become the standard for the local area for detailing service, and then after that, I'm either going to partner with a brand or develop my own chemical line.
Okay.
That's kind of it, because you can only detail so many boats,
Sure.
and the learning curve that I've learned is to train detailers to do everything that I can do for them, either to move on with their life because it's hard work and not too many people want to stick around long term, or you train them up and they start their own company, which I can't blame them because that's what I did. I started my own company.
Right.
It's just a lot of moving parts. Whereas the brand to supply detailers just kind of goes hand in hand with what I've always done and what I enjoy doing, and that's helping people succeed. So more specifically with the detail you, like I said, I've talks and I'm in talks right now with my marketing partner, and to kind of get that going as far as doing like a mentorship program to help people grow and have more conversations like this, more specifically because your business will the more you fix yourself,
Right.
honestly. And with Revival Marine Care, it's just detailing, having a great service as far as detailing, obviously posting content on YouTube and getting the word out as far as YouTube, and more specifically doing the trainings and potentially turning that into a product line.
Awesome. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
give me just a second. Your screen kind of went funky, and I'm
Okay.
I'm just watching to see if it'll catch. I mean, you're fine now, but I was just see if it
Okay.
can catch up and but anyway, yeah, that's awesome. That's I think and and I'm gonna encourage people to obviously people are watching your videos, but I'm gonna encourage people even more to go watch your videos because there's a lot to be said for, in my opinion, how your delivery, your knowledge, and how you encourage people through the videos is amazing to me, and I love that about it,
Yeah. Thank you.
and I appreciate you for it. So,
Yeah.
um,
Thank you.
because I don't, I'm kind of a recreational vehicle freak type kind of. I've never owned a boat, right?
Yeah.
I love boats, I love planes, I love jet skis, I love RVs, that kind of thing. But those things to me are, and I've said this before, those are such for me when I see those things, I think that and my mind says those are such great, huge undertakings that
Yeah.
it's not something I want to venture into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I do love watching everybody else do it. In fact, I just did a. I'm not gonna tease anybody, but I just did an episode with a guy who does nothing but details aircraft. So that was kind of interesting. So we got boats, we got aircraft, um, but so I just think it's. How long do you think it's going to be before Detail U comes back out? Because I was watching the videos and
Yeah, so technically Detail U is still up. If you go to detailuni.com, I have two online courses there. I have one where I recorded a training session that I did. It was a 3-day training event. Now, it was with my past partnership, which we have split up with that product line since then. So I don't really push that one as much because it's all their logos and branding and products. But then I did do another one where I take people through the step-by-step process of doing a full detail on a boat. So
okay,
it's the washing, it's the sanding, the buffing, the everything. I mean, every single thing. I have it all listed out, products, everything, and that one does pretty well for people that want to kind of learn the whole thing. But I was getting conflicted with those courses because I'm like, I teach people online for free how to do the detailing side. So when I bring the Detail U back, what that's going to look like is going to be more of professional mentoring and coaching as far
okay,
as this is how we price, this is how we do marketing, this is how how you present better to customers. Because over the last 2 years, I've written a whole book. I have SOPs of all the detailing process of which RPM speed to run your polishers at, which RPM speed to run dual action versus, or OPM for dual action and RPM for rotary.
Okay.
I like geeked out on it hard and like wrote a whole textbook on it. So I'm still finalizing that. And the way that's going to look is we're going to have exclusive content on the Detail U community. So
Okay.
if you want the paid membership, which I don't even have all that mapped out yet, but it'll be like a paid membership where you'll get exclusive content. We're
Perfect.
probably going to do like a 45-minute coaching call a week. So it'll be cool. I'm excited. There's a lot to that because it's going to be a lot more engagement and they're going to get a lot more of me on the back end. But I'm thinking it'll probably be maybe this fall to probably next spring before it's official and ready to
Okay.
go and launched. Yeah.
Well, I'll be looking for it, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a really, it's just I feel like this is a dumb question, but we talk a lot about, and we were talking about this last night on the episode we recorded last night, is I watch other industries that have what the industry calls maintenance clients, like
Okay.
repeat clientele, right?
Yeah.
Do you have that?
So I've had a few. So right now I've got three, literally three, because I mean we're 4 months deep.
Okay.
That is the way forward for me because I noticed a big gap in my company before because I would do these big restaurants. I kind of specialize in restores. So a lot of my YouTube videos are all restores. So we'll take boats that are super faded, I mean nasty, and we revive them,
Okay.
bring them back to life.
Okay.
So my gap that I found in my business was that I would do these big projects and then I wouldn't hear from them for maybe a year or 2 years later.
Right.
And when I went to go sell my company, my first one, I did everything on the back end. QuickBooks was not set up properly. Like all my bookings were wrong. And then also too, I had a business consultant basically tell me, hey, you actually don't really have a business. You have more of a customer list. And that's not very valuable. Your value is how much repeat customers you have per
Right.
month. So my new business model is doing the full restores and then trying to get them in on a quarterly maintenance plan or bi-weekly or weekly washes. Now, I never really did those before because it was mainly just me and like one or two other guys. And I never wanted to like wrap myself up in doing a $200 wash when I could be doing a $3,000 restore.
Got
But
it.
now that I'm building my team, the goal is to have the restore, turn those into quarterly or wash jobs, and then having a detailed crew specifically for that and
Okay.
maintaining it. That yeah.
Good. Well, and I think that's one thing for me is that, and the reason why I asked that question is because I feel like the detailing industry, I mean, we're getting better at it, but I feel like it's something that we miss out on. It's always that
Yeah.
one-time client, that twice a year client. And so I watch a lot of different industries like the barber industry, which I don't know
Yeah.
why, and I watch lawn care companies, and I like to hear them talk about what they do to maintain that personal experience because I think,
Yeah.
I mean, you spend $1 million on a boat, that to me is a personal experience,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So being able to maintain that, would
Yeah.
be something that people might want to learn. And
Yeah,
that's why I
for
was
sure. Well,
curious.
and boats are nice too. So especially the bigger boats like that, they're nice because they're sitting in the same spot. Typically, they're either at the marina or they are sitting in the slip at the marina or on a dry rack at the marina. So it's a lot different than cars because cars, people's schedules are weird. They're at work
Right.
sometimes, they're at home sometimes. So when I had my car detailing business, I hated doing them because it was like either rescheduling all the time and all this stuff. And I'm sure there's ways around that now. I haven't touched a car in like probably 4 or 5 years at this point, but which I'm thankful for. um, I did some jet skis the other day and I was like, dude, this is like car detailing. It's too finicky. I don't like it. But it's too tedious and as pretty boy detailing is what I'm like all the soft pads. I'm like, give me a good wool and a rotary. I'm happy. I don't have the patience for car detailing. It's too soft.
That's awesome.
I love it. It's honestly hard. It's harder than boats in my opinion. Car detailing is definitely harder than boat detailing. And but anyway, so When it comes to boats, it's nice because most of these clients, they want to keep them maintained because they don't want to go out there and wash their boat themselves, and it's at a slip or marina, so it's actually quite easy to sell those. And I'm still trying to figure it out. The way I've worked it is just giving people a quarterly, either quarterly or monthly wash maintenance plan, and then basically I have my full price, and then I just take 25% off the full price if they sign up for a maintenance plan. And so
Okay.
far it's been working great. So I've only done about 10 boats since I've been here because my projects, they're pretty high ticket projects. And they'll take me 2 or 3 weeks to detail a boat because we're
Right.
sanding them down, we're refinishing them and rebuffing them. So I 10 boats, is good for a couple months. Whereas
But
cars, you need quite a few of them.
I'm just guessing from the out. I'm looking, obviously looking from the outside in. Is I'm just guessing that once you secure that first engagement with a customer for a high ticket item like such what you do, I would think it would be fairly simple to get them to keep them on a maintenance plan
Yeah,
for the most part.
100%. Yeah, it's especially if you do a good job, and that's the thing. Where it's like I've had a lot of detailers tell me, "Hey, I can't get people on maintenance. I can't get people on maintenance." I'm like, "Dude, it's probably because they weren't happy with your service. It's not even so
Right.
much. It's not even so much your and I'm bad about this. Like I'm great at a lot of things. Customer service is not it's not what I'm gifted in. I don't genuinely like talking to people, and I'm not like super friendly all the time, like especially when I'm working or I'm tired. And like
Right.
that's why I do these interviews in the morning, because I'm good. After about 2 o'clock, I'm done. Like, don't even look at me. So I don't love picking up the phone and calling people. I'm not a nurturing kind of guy. That's just not my gifting. I do it because it's what you have to do, but it's not what I'm gifted in. But I've told guys, like, if you're having trouble getting repeat clients, it's either one, your detailing service wasn't good, or maybe your detailing service was great, but you just aren't great. Your communication style, your follow up. Do you show up
Right.
on time? Like, because that's a big thing too, man. You give people your word, and this was a big one for me. It's like, hey, I'll be there on Wednesday, and then you don't show up till Friday or Saturday. Now, rain is a factor for us because we have to deal with weather and rain. But still,
Sure.
like, just communicating, over communicate. I am, if you want to succeed in business, over communicate more than under communicate. It's better for the customer to say, hey, stop texting me, than to, where are you? Are you coming? That kind of
Right.
thing. So
Right.
it's ultimately just having a great customer service experience. And I believe that you are better to have, if you give the customer a better customer service experience, you are more likely to get repeat business than even doing a super perfect detail. So, like,
Right.
even if you miss a compartment or two, or maybe it wasn't the best detail they ever got, but they like you as a person and they can see you're willing to try, and you treat their boat as if it was your boat, or in your case, you treat their car as if it was your car, if you treat your cars well. um, um, if they like you as a person, they'll do business with you as a person, even if you're not even the world class detailer and got every swirl and everything out of their boat. Or because honestly, in car detailing and boat detailing, we get so fixated on making sure the paint is perfect and like not a single scratch or swirl, when 99.99% of customers will never see that stuff. They don't
Never
even
see it.
care. They don't even
Right.
care.
Right.
I get so bent out on these little swirls and scratches, and I'm like, you don't see it? And they're like, see what? It looks great to me. And I'm like, dude, it looks like crap. What are you talking about? They're like, it looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah, it does. It looks great. So, as
Yeah.
detailers, we get so egotistical about how much swirls we can get out, when our customer base has no idea what a swirl is. Now, do it well, do it good, work with excellence, all the whole nine. But I think a lot of the times we I feel like it stems from an insecurity. At least it did for me. For myself, I got so worked up on how good of a job I can do, because honestly, deep down inside, I was insecure that I was a boat washer. And I
Right.
had to come up with these, like, I'm the best boat washer there is. And I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, I'm a boat washer. I just want to be nice to people, do a good job, go home happy. And I'm not going to stress out over swirl marks, or dog you because you have a little swirl in your paint, or you're
Right.
not using the best product on the market.
That's awesome.
I love detailer arguments. It's quite hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back so we can get into that.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, I was the guy, like, this and that and products and man, I'm just over it. I just want to be happy. I want to make my
yeah,
money. I want to take my wife on date nights. I want to take my kids to the beach and enjoy my life. I have no desire to fight with people over products.
no, that's awesome. Me neither. And so if you get a chance, I on YouTube I've thrown up on like every other Saturday I do this little thing called Shine Shift
Okay.
where I do a like less than 10-minute video of trying to get you to think about things differently. And one
Yeah.
of them is, and I'm just going to give you the titles. One of them is I'm a great car washer.
Yeah.
So if you watch that, you'll understand why I say that. And the
That's
other one
funny.
is something about, I'm a huge waterless freak. I've been a waterless freak since 1985.
That's
It's
good.
just something that I like, right? The
Yeah.
waterless, rinseless thing. So, but anyway, listen, thank you so much for being here. Before we go, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. That's my main content. It's just Drake's Detailing on YouTube, or if you type in how to detail a boat, I'll pop up. I'm typically the number one on YouTube when it comes to boat detailing. And you
Okay.
can also find me on Instagram at Drake's Detailing as well on Instagram. Those are the two platforms that I'm most active on.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Drake, it's been a pleasure. It's been an
Yeah.
amazing conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here. I think I'm still reeling about the Chick-fil-A guy. So,
Yeah.
but maybe we could. I would love to do this again. And
Yeah. I'd
if
love
you
to.
got some time, and we can maybe argue about products or something.
Yeah.
So, but listen, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Hang out for a minute, and we'll talk for a few more minutes off camera. But thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing your shine. And thanks for just dropping tons of nuggets that I think people can learn from. Ladies and gentlemen, Drake Robert from Revival Marine Care. Drake, man, appreciate you. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Hey, I'll say before we cut it, like I enjoyed the interview as well, and I was really
Right.
humbled when you reached out to me and just wanted me to join on, and especially with it being a newer podcast too. It's like, hey, I'm glad that we can come on, give your viewers and your listeners a good experience, and hopefully they could take a few nuggets. And you hosting me and just the questions, it was great. Honestly, I could say it's probably top podcast I've done. So, or
Well,
at least up there in the top 10. So,
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
but yeah,
So,
it was great. You're easy to talk to you, which is nice.
I like to talk. So
Yeah,
appreciate
me
that,
too.
man. Listen, give me a second. I'll be right back with you. Ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen, episode 56. Thanks for being here. Go check out Drake and everything he's got to offer. Check out Detail U and be looking forward to some other things in the spring, maybe. And get in the community. Join the community and learn from what Drake has to offer. Man, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Talk to you again another time. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you. Yeah.